This is in a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
If you're drunk,
Blasted,
intoxicated,
ripped, plastered,
taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Allowing you to spend more time with family.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local...
Have your phone. Who'd I get? How'd I do on the waiver wire? I know how it is. Should I check? Because I haven't checked yet.
Waiver wire Wednesday.
Yeah, but who's out? Who'd you get? Who can you still get? And who's going to play and who's not? Because... man, week 2, and there's a lot of injuries going into week 3. Good morning to you, and I hope you're having a great morning. It's the opening drive. It's just merely me, Jeff Symbieta, along with JJ Buck. How you living?
What it do?
I didn't know Angel Reese was doing Reebok now. Did you? Like,
that's
big
solid
banner ad on SI, like Angel Reese everywhere, all made up and model-esque. Did you get what you need on the waiver wire?
It's been a quiet 2 weeks in terms of impactful players. There's a lot of guys out there you're trying to chase opportunity, but outside of really Jordan Mason in terms of the one-for-one fill-ins for the major injuries, haven't been there.
All right, I don't know what I got. I'll find it later. I know Tua's on the IR. That happened yesterday. I think this is the Tua conversation is so uncomfortable for me because I got everybody in the world telling a dude what to do with his life, and by watching pictures, and I appreciate it because I want to think the majority of people who are telling Tua what to do are coming from a right place, right? They're coming from a place where they think they have Tua's best in their mind. I don't know. I don't know Tua. I don't know his situation other than I know he's had multiple concussions and I know what I read. The Dolphins placed him on injured reserve. It's been reported that he does not plan on retiring. That's cool. I think what this does, dude, more than anything else, it gives him 4 weeks to not have to answer the question. Now, in 4 weeks, he'll have to answer it again. But it's, are you going to play this week? Is Tua going to play this week? Is Tua going to play? Is he going to retire? Should he play? How's he feeling? He's on IR, dude. Like, you're not going to ask if Isaac Pacheco's playing. You're not asking if Puka Nakua's playing. Understood they have completely different types of injuries, but I think this gives him a little bit of a shield, a little bit of a shelter from having to deal with it publicly, while certainly he and his family and with whomever he's speaking can go through the process. But I think it was a good move in that respect. If you're like, okay, dude took it pretty good, and I don't know if it was his suggestion or theirs or the doctor's, but it feels like a good move to me from that perspective.
I agree with you on this. Give him time where you're right on not answering that question once you get to that date on the concussion protocols. Is he cleared? Is he going to practice? Like, this was another major head injury for Tua. Give him time to step back, talk to the doctors, because he has already reinforced that he wants to play football again. So just allow him to have those conversations with the medical professionals and neurologists, get back on track. And a month away of not answering those questions, I think is huge, because that puts pressure on the player, puts pressure on the team when you're trying to come back from injury. You're a competitor, you want to be out there. And this is a major moment early in the season, and if he wasn't on IR, then you know that first time that he got a clearance back, they said, all right, you're clear, then he's going to be pushing, he's going to be going. And it's easy to say, well, if he's cleared, he should go then. But I do think this was the right move overall, to give Tua and Miami that month to take a step back, to fully heal and get cleared if he gets there.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't get anybody I wanted. Like, what the hell? This sucks. I just checked my waivers. Like, I
got some work to do, though.
Well,
we'll do it.
Damn. Like,
we'll get your lineups ready.
I'm 0-2, and I'm like, all right, I must have good waiver. So I didn't figure I'd get the running back from Kansas City steal. I guess I got Dante Foreman.
That's okay.
I got Dante Foreman, who I might play instead of Zamir White this weekend, by the way. But you know who I wanted? I got one more. I can't give it away. Okay,
If you want him, you got to get him now, and then we can talk about it.
Well, no, I got another waiver wire league tonight. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you all tomorrow. Yeah, I'm with you on the Tua thing, and I think it was right. And honestly, I think it's right for Mike McDaniel. Right, the coach doesn't have to answer it for every day. Is Tua going to play? How's Tua? I mean, he might have to answer how's Tua, but he doesn't have to answer is he going to play? What are you going to do with him? All of that mess. And I think it's the right thing, and it gives them time to go get away from it while still being in the middle of it and evaluate. And
yeah, and it's for the Dolphins, for them to manage this time too. Kind of the players not wondering, is it going to be this Tuesday? Is it going to be this Wednesday? Is it going to be this Thursday? He's on IR, so now they have to rally around Skylar Thompson. They brought in a veteran in Huntley.
Yep.
Who's been there, done
Who's
that.
better, Thompson or Huntley?
Well, it could end up being Huntley, but right now it makes sense that
because the guy who's been in the building,
Skylar Thompson's going to get the opportunity to start this upcoming weekend, and rally around that. You, Mike McDaniel, those players on offense, scheme it up. I just watched the Packers scheme up a game plan with Malik Willis around a big time run.
What did he throw it 6 times or whatever he threw it?
14 times.
14.
I think they could figure out something with Thompson and/or Huntley over the next month to try to stay competitive.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. And stay competitive is something they need to do, because when you take a look at where they are, I mean, this is a team that people thought was going to win that division. They're 1-1, and their quarterback is now Skylar Thompson as they go to Seattle, take that long trip, and then they come back and they get the Titans and they go to the Patriots. The Colts aren't killing people right now, so there's. I mean, it's not easy. I don't know that I think anything is easy in the National Football League, but it's not murderer's row right now, and so let's see where they are. Elsewhere, as you go through it, maybe you took a stab at Kareem Hunt. Maybe you went with the running back situation for Kansas City. Kareem Hunt is back. middle of the season, was released by Kansas City, 6 years ago. And now they're looking for help at running back, and so he's back. He's 39 years old, and he was, I mean, this is a stab, right? You're trying to catch lightning in a bottle with a 29-year-old running back who's been injured, who's, you kind of know him. He's been in the building. Look, he left the building under situations or circumstances that were not very fun for him, right? It was put on the commissioner's exempt list. Chiefs released him, saying he hadn't been truthful with them when they asked him about that incident back in, 2008, when the video surfaced that showed him shoving and kicking a woman in a Cleveland hotel. Remember all that? That was this dude, and it's kind of the Ray Rice thing, except for he was younger and could still play, so he hung around in was it, Cleveland for a while, right? I don't know. Does this solve their problem?
No. It doesn't solve the problem. It's just someone that's on the practice squad right now. If he gets on the field, it's a part of a rotation, and it's going to be more pressure on Patrick Mahomes in the passing game, because this is going to be a Kansas City team that has to manufacture a run game now, that has to get by in the run game. Carson Steele, Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt learns enough of the offense to get on the field. It's just like the Cowboys back there.
Yeah, but
three different dudes run the football.
Yeah, but whoever's there seems like it's going to work for them, right?
It
Because
does.
you got 15 back there. I expect Kelsey to become more a part of, like, almost an extended running game with them. He hasn't been very active as far as what they've done over the first couple of weeks. And they're like San Francisco in a lot of respects to me. It doesn't matter who you put back there. They're going to have success. And I've
Not
watched
at
it
the
happen.
running back position.
No, but it doesn't hurt them, and it's steady. And they find a guy who is always able to punch it in, who doesn't turn the ball over. Well, when have they had a problem? You're right. They haven't had, aside from Pacheco, they haven't had a stud. They tried Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But when have they ever had, you went in and said, yeah, I'm not certain about what they do. It's always worked. Last year was it Clyde Edwards-Helaire was their main guy?
No, it was Isaiah Pacheco.
It was Pacheco.
They were 15th in total offense last year. And they didn't really get rolling until Isaiah Pacheco became a thing in that run game late 2 years ago. So it's not a plug-and-play offense where the running back is going to be good. It's, can you get enough out of the running game because you have that guy?
Yeah, and I guess that it's the magic eraser, isn't it? Because I look at it and I'm like, yeah, maybe the stats tell that, and I'm not going to argue with the numbers, but I always look at them and I'm like, I'm not worried about it. Like I'm never worried about them while they got that dude there, right? It's like, well, who are his receivers, right? Hollywood Brown's out, okay. They got Xavier Worthy and they got Rashee Rice. I mean, I never worry about him with that guy. Now, if that guy goes down, we got another conversation.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Kansas City, but it's not like that's not an offense as simple as like Carson Steele's running for 100 yards per game. Kareem Hunt's going to go in there and get 100 yards. Like, it's not that type of.
I agree with you on that. All right, we got a lot of NFL to do. We got New Mexico United tonight at home. A battle at the top of the table, although there's quite a nice cushion, and they can really put this thing away with a win over Sacramento Republic tonight out at the ball pitch. Global basketball has a new recruit. There's always conference realignment conversation to be had. Ohtani is going bonkers. If you're not watching this thing, this is something to watch the last couple of weeks of the baseball season as Shohei Ohtani continues to, well, not just chase history. He makes it. Everyone now, there's nobody who's ever been in the 50-50 club, 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. And while he's chasing that, every home run and stolen base, he sets another mark. And I'll explain what that means as we go through the day. What the Bryce Young situation has led to, there's a lot of feedback on the quarterback being benched, the number 1 overall pick from a year ago's draft in the National Football League. We'll get in the conversation. Is the Cowboys issue personnel or is it scheme, as their defense got shredded? And this isn't the first time it's happened, although it is under their new coordinators. We got a lot to do. The phone numbers are 505-246-0610, area code 505-246-0610. Emails will come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. On the X, it's _JJ Buck. On the Facebook, it's the OD and the AM. You can watch the program on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. You can also watch it on Xfinity or Comcast, channel 26 statewide. Adrian's producing there. It's also on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Look around your car. You're in it, right? How's it look? Yeah, mine too. I'm about that point too. I need to call On the Spot Automotive Detailing and have them come out and detail my vehicle. And I can suggest it to you as well as you head into the fall, busy driving season, family coming to town, balloon fiesta, kids are going to games all the time. You're in your vehicle a lot. Make it something you want to be in. Remember when you first got your vehicle? Remember how clean it was? It smelled good. It looked good. It felt good to be in. I can get that for you. You can call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. They will come out and detail your vehicle at your convenience. That means where and when it works for you. There's no taking it to their place, sitting around for a few hours or getting a ride. And no. You're busy. They get it. They come to you whilst you're in your office, whilst you're at home, whatever it is you're doing. They're outside detailing your vehicle. When they are done, you go outside and your vehicle looks like the day you took it off the lot. Smells that way, feels that way. People are standing around just going, how do I get it? Well, I'll tell you how to get it. You call On the Spot Automotive Detailing at 505-859-2859. They're rewarded best in the city because they're best in the city. They also offer ceramic coating that will protect your paint. Ask them about their tint. They're the best in the market with 3M tint product. It protects UV and infrared rays. That keeps your car looking cool and feeling cool. Get the professional tint you need, the professional detailing you need. On the Spot Automotive Detailing, 505-859-2859. Area code 505-859-2859 or online at otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I didn't get him. Oh, well. Opening drive, Jefferson be out of J.J. Buck. You watching Shohei Ohtani at all? You watching what's going on with him?
Yes, there's a nice handful of players that you have to watch in Major League Baseball this season. And he's still that dude.
Says there's no pressure. And I believe that. I mean, we're watching something that has never been done before. And this isn't quite McGuire, Sosa, Bonds chasing the Maris record. But it's because they're not chasing anything. I mean, he's chasing a number and not a legend. The home run he hit last night was a bomb. They're playing Atlanta, and Dodgers, they lost. No, they're in Miami now. They lost last night 11-9. Ohtani is trying to become the first player ever to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a season. And baseball's history is really long. There's, 6 players on the 40-40 list? I think it's 6. He has 48 home runs and 48 stolen bases. There's 11 games left. So he's really, really close. He trails only Aaron Judge, who's got 53 home runs for the major league lead in home runs. Only Ellie De La Cruz of the Reds with 64 stolen bases. He's got 48. So he's right there. He's hitting, his slash line is 287, 372, and 611. That have him on pace to be the first full-time designated hitter to win MVP. I mean, he is MVP, right? I understand because of the injury, he's not playing, he's not pitching, he's not playing in the outfield. But those numbers are MVP numbers, aren't they? Do you have to? Can a DH win MVP?
I think he can, with what you just said, but I also think we should factor in what other players are doing in the field. But
no,
I don't think
right.
I don't know if anyone in the NL has a strong enough case. Like if he was, still in the American League, then you're looking at Bobby Witt and Aaron Judge. And
yeah,
I think those would be factors that would actually
but
play
he's
in
not.
their favor. That's what I'm saying. I think there's not one where I'm like, all right, this dude is also playing this level of defense that chips into what Shohei's doing.
Yeah, I typically, and I believe this came up years ago with Edgar Martinez, right, when he was with the Mariners. And he put up ridiculous offensive numbers, and he was a full-time designated hitter, and there was an argument, and I was on that side. Man, I don't know. You can't just play half the game, one side of the game and be the most valuable player. But find me a player in the National League who's been more valuable. And I know we play the semantics game. Is it best player? Is it the most valuable? What does it mean? And I think these are left undefined and vague on purpose, so the individual voter can determine or decipher or define what MVP means to that individual person, right? The person who's voting. But Francisco Lindor with the Mets has had a really good season. He's out with a back injury. Ohtani's done it through power, batting average, stolen bases. We know what he is when he pitches and plays in the field, and he will next year. I'm struggling finding a guy who's more valuable in the National League. And by the way, this is must see. 50-50, when you look at the history of baseball, when you go back through the numbers, the years, the players, and this skill set, and I know you said it, and I'm struggling arguing with you. How is he not the best player any of us have ever seen? Well, Bonds was, okay. Bonds, I'm not telling you, like when you say, you know, you like LeBron over Michael, you're not saying Mike wasn't very good.
We didn't talk about Babe Ruth all the time just because he called his shot.
No, that's not why we talk about Babe Ruth. His numbers are legit. His pitching numbers are legit.
But then he had this,
we never saw him.
People talk about him because he pitched, and he had that portion of career where he pitched, and people don't do that.
No.
And well, now we're seeing someone who does it.
No.
Unlike we're probably ever going to see again.
Well, I hope not. I see. My hope is it starts a trend.
No, it's not going to start.
And a trend could be a trickle. To me. Like I hope it starts a trickle. How about that? I agree with you. It won't start a trend, but I hope that people are more apt to let their best athletes pitch and play. I know that it probably will not happen. You know where I've stood on this for years. You go out to any Little League ballpark at 11, 12 years old up to 16, the best pitcher is probably the best player, right? And he hits and he plays shortstop and he does great
then
things.
you start going against better players and you're not as good anymore.
You're not as dominant. You're still very good, and you can do both. And then there's this guy. This guy's the guy you see at the Little League, right? This guy, that's what I've said. Ohtani is the guy at Little League who pitches when he's ready, and when he doesn't, he's out there and he's hitting every night, right? But he's must see. He is just flat out must see. 48th home run last night in the third inning, so he's at 48 and 48. It was 402 feet off of Darren McCann. I mean, it just a bomb. It went up into the second deck. So the 48 and 48, he's been, by the way, how many times he's stolen 48 bases? How many times do you think he's been caught? Because I think this is something, all right, well, yeah, but.
5?
4? So he's 48 out of 52 stealing bases, dude. That's what, 96%, 97%?
Number 2 in stolen bases in the National League.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's getting thrown out half the time, it'd be another story. But he's not, and they know now. They know he's going.
Well, he wouldn't have anywhere near the numbers if he's getting thrown out.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough.
Like runs scored. And
yeah.
Leading the National League. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like his numbers across the board. The fact that he is stealing bases. Let me make up for him not playing in the field.
Let me put this into another perspective. And what's even more amazing about what he's doing. So he is looking at 48 and 48. 48 home runs, 48 stolen bases. He would become, and he's already the first to ever do that. 48, 48. Like the numbers that he's building on are already like the most combined ever in a season. But 50 would be magical. There's 2 other players in the history of baseball, JJ, who have had at least 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in any season. So, like, he had 50 stolen bases in one year and 50 home runs another year. That's all. Barry Bonds and Brady Anderson are the only other 2 dudes who have done that. I want you to think about that. This dude's doing it in one season what only 2 other guys have ever done in 2 random seasons in their career. Does that make sense how I'm explaining that? Right? So the dude plays let's say he played from 1990 to 2010. And so in 1998, he sold 50 bases, and in 2004, he hit 50 home runs. All this whilst he's recovering from Tommy John surgery. Dude's amazing. This dude's amazing. By the way, there's still a little bit of a pennant race going on in the National League West. Dodgers are only 3.5 games up on the Padres with 11 to go. Like the Padres are just creeping and creeping and creeping. Padres have distanced themselves from Arizona a bit. Arizona 6 back, and then the Mets are holding on now. Mets are 2 games better than Atlanta for the final wild card spot. Padres and Dodgers. I'm going to tell you this: Dodgers want none of the Padres in the playoffs. They want none of them. Padres are in Houston. They lost last night. Then they get the White Sox, and then they go to LA. That series in LA next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's big. If you're watching a little baseball, I know it's all about the footy, but on a Wednesday we can take a look at the pennant races, and you might even look at them on a Saturday or Sunday because here come the playoffs, and we got some cool stuff. I don't know, dude. perspective of only 2 other dudes have ever done it in separate seasons. And this guy's looking to do it in one. Is bonkers to me. 505-246-0610. Come on through. 888-922-0610 if you pay a toll. You can send emails, Jeff at sports@mlabq.com, and you can watch us on the Facebook, the OD, and the AM. JJ, when we come back, we talk about the Cowboys. Is it personnel? Is it scheme? Was it a bad day? Because coming out of week 1, they're off. Their defense is unbelievable. They got the best defense in the world. Maybe they don't. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Outlet.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clarks understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clarks is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
Jerry Palm will be with us tomorrow. He of CBS Sports. We'll go through college football. Big ones this weekend. Big House will be rocking this weekend. USC at Michigan. They changed quarterbacks. Orgy's going to start for Michigan. Damn, dude, the waiver wire was nuts in this league. Like, everybody got moved or cut or whatever. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Glad you're with us on 95.9 FM. And AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for the National Football League. We got a lot going on for you this week, and hope you'll be with us. I know when you're looking for, when you're out and about, like, we all like watching the NFL, and we all we want to watch it. But when you're out, you go, I don't know, you got to go get beer and smokes at some point, or you got to take the kid to the game, or you got something to do. Keep it locked here on the Sports Animal. We are your home for live sports, and certainly football. Tonight we have the Isotopes in Reno, final week of the season for the Isotopes. Tomorrow night, Thursday night football, Patriots and Jets. It'll be Aaron Rodgers' first game back at what he calls Jet Life Stadium. 5:30, and the Isotopes will be over on KTBL. Isotopes back here on the Sports Animal on Friday. Saturday morning, afternoon, 1 o'clock, USC Michigan, right here on the Sports Animal. And then the Topes will follow that. Over on News Radio KKOB on Saturday, we got Fresno State and New Mexico, 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock kickoff out at University Stadium, homecoming conference opener for Louisville football. And then Sunday, man, Eagles Saints. I mean, Eagles Saints, like everything in the NFL is intriguing, right? Eagles Saints, Niners Rams after that in the afternoon window. And then over on KTBL, we'll have the Panthers and Raiders. If you're looking for the Isotopes on Sunday, they get the big stick for their final game of the year. They're over on News Radio KKOB. And then Sunday night, Chiefs and Falcons. Monday night, Bills and Jaguars. So,
it's a Monday night doubleheader.
It's a doubleheader on Monday.
But we got the Jaguars.
What's the other game on Monday night?
Cincinnati and Washington.
See, when you got injury stuff and you got to hold off till Monday in your Monday Night Football, it doesn't do anybody any good.
At least you have 2 games going in case of emergency.
Break glass. All right, so that's what we got. Cowboys gave up, 40 million points, 43, 40, whatever the points were, to the Saints this weekend. Is their issue, because if you go back and look at their last playoff game where they gave 40-plus to the Packers, so that's 2 of their last 3. I think it's 3 of their last 4, if I'm not mistaken. The amount of points that they're giving up is astronomical for a team. Oh, they got Michael Parsons, and they got okay. Is it personnel or scheme with them? I mean, Jerry will tell you we're built to win the Super Bowl, that this is a great team, that they're good enough to win the Super Bowl. They got shredded by a team that, look, may end up being really good. I'm not ready to tell you the New Orleans Saints are a Super Bowl contender yet, and I understand that they scored a lot of points the first week against Carolina. They went out and duplicated that in a much more impressive fashion, I believe, against the Cowboys. Are the Cowboys, is it personnel or is it scheme, do you think?
I think it's more personnel right now.
I do too.
Because scheme-wise, they were good enough that their last defense coordinator got a head coaching job in the NFL. So it was scheme and personnel.
Did he get out in front of the posse?
Enough.
I mean, honestly, did he get out in front of the posse on that? And his scheme was really good, and he schemed it up that they were better than they really are. And Zimmer comes in and says, I mean, I can look at it. DeMarcus Lawrence should be really good. What is it? Odigizua? Say it. Osa Odigizua. The other end. And then Parsons and Lawrence and Osa, but what are they in the back, right? I mean, Trayvon Diggs is back, but Deron Bland is hurt. What are they in the back of the defense? And that's where they got shredded. If they don't get pressure, if they don't get to the quarterback, are they good enough to defend?
They got straight in. They gave up 190 yards rushing.
Yeah, up front. Yeah, a lot of them were on that one busted play, weren't they? I guess that was a screen pass, the Kamara bust.
That was a screen pass.
Yeah. So you think it's personnel?
I think it's more personnel right
now. I do too.
Because I think it's, and we've talked about it since the summer. It's been brought up. Like, Micah Parsons is viewed as one of the best defensive players in the game, but he's not a game wrecker. He doesn't do what Aaron Donald does. He doesn't do what Myles Garrett does. He doesn't do what T.J. Watt does. He's a pass rusher and get you pressures. He's a smaller, off-the-line guy. But people just look at that team and expect Micah Parsons to make up for everything, and he's not that type of defender.
Yeah, I think he's really good, and maybe that's why they're not paying him, or at least not yet. But, JJ, the amount of yards, to your point, 190 yards rushing. Derek Carr ripped him. And the big plays were Kamara had the 57-yard break. Shaheed got loose for 70. Jerry can sit out there and tell me all he wants that they got great players. I'm more concerned about their personnel because I think Zimmer is proven over his span that he's a good defensive coach. And you can scheme your way out of a lot of things. I'm not sure I think that they're good enough defensively. Now, look, here comes a Ravens team that's desperate. After this week, they almost get a 2-week break. Their defense, they get the Giants and the Steelers, which are two of the three most inept offenses in football with Carolina, right? There's not anybody worse than those three. I got a weird feeling on Lamar this week. That's a desperate team coming to see you, aren't they?
That Lamar's going to go off?
Yeah. I think this game is vital for the Ravens.
Absolutely.
They're
0-2.
And with what they've got coming out after this.
The last 3 years, only 2 teams have made the playoffs after an 0-2 start.
Is that right? I would have thought it would be more than that. Now, when you tell me 0-3, 0-4, so 0-2 teams that you thought would make the playoffs. So JJ said the last 3 years, only 2 teams who start 0-2 had made the playoffs. And that would be out of, 7 teams on each side. So 14 and 14 is 28, 38. Out of 42, right? What's 14 times 3? 42? I think that's right. 2 out of 42. Here's teams that you think would make the playoffs. Baltimore, Cincinnati are 0-2. Jacksonville's 0-2. The Rams are 0-2. Chad, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Chad.
Hey, guys. Well, are we surprised here, really, honestly, with the Cowboys? Nothing was done to address that debacle to end the season against Green Bay and running all over us. And you lose players, and then you pick up some guys 35, other guys 31, veterans that have just moved around the league. We don't have any bulk up front and guys that can kind of stay in their gaps. It's just we got pushed around so much on the D tackles. You can have all the skill players on the edges, the secondary, but if you can't stop the run, that's the MO for the Cowboys. Everybody knows it. We were exposed last weekend, and they're going to continue to do it. And what that also does is it takes away the power of Micah Parsons, and all those guys now have to play the run. They can't get their sacks. That's what they want. They want you to pass. But New Orleans was smart. They're like, we're not gonna give you that edge that you want with Micah Parsons, or you get the sacks, or Diggs gets his interceptions. We're just gonna run right through you, and until they stop it, I don't see how they're gonna stop it because they don't really have the personnel. That's what you do.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think we all agree it's the personnel right now. Chad, appreciate you. Thanks. And he's not wrong. I mean, how are you going to attack him? Let me run right up the gut. Stop me. And I'm not that worried about what you got in the secondary. Yeah, I think this is going to be a longer problem. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimallabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. See them around town everywhere you go, right? IPS, International Protective Service. Who are they? What are they? Do you understand it? You see them in your neighborhood. You see them at Target. You go out to the stores. International Protective Service is affordable private security. I've trusted them for years. They come by my home every single day. When I travel, I let them know. They do exterior checks multiple times a day. They pick up newspapers or mail or packages that are left on your curb. They'll roll the garbage cans to the curb and back, give your home that lived-in look. And if your alarm goes off and they're monitoring your alarm, they show up within 5 to 7 minutes with armed, trained security officers. Police may take hours. If they even show up, there's just not enough police for them to cover all of the calls they get. IPS keeps the bad guys away. Look, you've worked too hard to build what you've got, your home, your business. Don't let the bad guys just come in and destroy it. Call IPS and have them provide, whether it's standing guards, if you need eyes on your property around the clock, or install alarms, camera systems. They got the state-of-the-art facility to monitor those cameras 24/7. It raises the level of security around your home and business. So who's watching your home when you're not there? Don't let it be the bad guys. A quick response to your alarm, standing guards at your business. It's what IPS does. You'll sleep better at night. You can't prevent all of the crime. Everybody understands that. But if you've got no protection, you're more likely to be victimized. The number is 505-897-2420. Area code 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet.
Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
Ripped,
plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
All right, you're on the text line on the Cowboys. It says we never addressed our run defense in the offseason. So what do you expect? We only have 3 guys in the entire roster over 300 pounds, and 2 of them are in their 30s. It's still a problem. It's about the Cowboys. Yeah. Yep, I don't disagree with you. And that's why I think it's a personnel thing. And I don't know that I think this is a one-off as far as the Cowboys are concerned. Now, you're going to feel better about yourself over the next 3 weeks, right? I think this week, as much as the Ravens are struggling offensively, I think they come in. I think this is a vital week for them. I think they get healthy this week. And then you'll feel better when you play the Giants and you play the Steelers. You'll, oh, look, we kept them under 20. Yeah. So did everybody. Right? Good for you. Right? And then you're going to get woken up again. It just feels like the same old thing. Yeah, you can beat teams who aren't very good, and you thought that was the Saints. And how are you going to do against teams who are pretty good? And I think this is going to be who they are. And you're going to say, well, Jeff, they beat the Browns in week 1. Yeah, and honestly, I was impressed. But what did the Browns do last week? They won, but they scored, what, 23 points or something?
Well, and I think this is with any conversation is you credit a team for what they do, but beating the Browns on the road, it was just one game.
Yeah. And this was just one game, so I don't want to overreact, right?
But I think this is more towards their issues as opposed to Cleveland.
Well, here's where you're going to know. All right, so the Ravens come in, we'll get an idea. Then you handle the Giants and Steelers. Then you go Lions, Niners, Falcons, Eagles, Texans. That 5-week stretch, you'll get a pretty good idea, won't you? That's where you're going to go, all right, are they worth a damn or are they not? Can they stop anybody or can they not? And I'm a little concerned if you're a Cowboy fan. I am. I don't know where you're coming from. All right, 505-246-0610. WNBA made a little news this morning. They're expanding into Portland. The team will begin in 2026. So that will be their 15th team, 14th team. How many they got?
I like it.
Their 15th franchise. Portland's a good market for them.
We got Seattle up there.
Yeah.
Which is getting really good support.
Yep.
You're going to bring Golden State in, San Francisco market. They're going into Toronto. That's what the league needs.
I guess I didn't know Portland was in the WNBA with the Fire in 2000, and then they folded before the 2002 season. So it failed up there before, but they've got different ownerships and the team that's the majority owner of their NWSL team, the Portland.
Well, and there's a different
Thorns
vibe for women's athletics now than there was 24 years ago.
Yeah, no, I think it works up there. I do. And so the WNBA expanded. You're getting in on the playoffs. Have you still been watching the WNBA? Well,
yes.
That's all right that you have.
No, I was watching 2 games at once last night. That was actually happening.
You know what I got caught up?
On my multi-view.
I got sucked in last night. HBO, I was flipping through, and I'm like, hey, what's over here? And I got caught on the documentary on the steal, the documentary on the stolen election in 2020, and the whole thing.
Who produced that?
Well, right, you're saying which slant did it have? It had, Trump's people, and it had Pence's chief of staff and a bunch of former Trump staffers, and I got sucked in. A lot of stuff that you hear things from whom you hear it, you take it from the source. But yeah, I didn't watch. Then I kind of I better hit SportsCenter and get caught up. You catch a little of it. But yeah, that's the rabbit hole I got sucked into last night. It was, what was I watching right before that? It was a game. I was watching. What's a good watch is that Major League Baseball extra innings where they give you the 4 games and they control the sound on
Tuesday
MLB
and Wednesday
Network.
usually. Like it was Storm Aces last night in Seattle, which was a really good game until the fourth quarter. Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum took over for the Aces. But that's
I tried. That's fine. Yeah, look, that's why there's so many channels. I get it.
Hey, it's something that butters my bread.
No, and I love that it does, and it butters a lot of people's bread, and a lot of people like it. Like it's that's why we got so much. That's why some people just stare at the tennis all day, and some people stare at the soccer and the hockey and the golf and whatever it is you love, man. Wrestling, whatever's your thing. I'm not gonna tell you what to watch. You're gonna try to tell me what to watch, but. One time I do tell you, always around hockey playoffs, I do tell you if you're not watching, you're missing out. Because I think it's the intensity of the Stanley Cup playoffs is insane. All right, when we come back, I just had something for you. What was I going to hit for you? 505-246-0610 is the number to get in. When we come back, Lobos in Fresno State this week. I want to get into that a little bit. And the quarterbacks in the 2024 draft, there were 6 of them early. I know it's too early to judge, too early to pass grades out, but it's not too early to take a look at how they've started, and we will do that. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
And have you seen the Altuve play?
Yeah.
So Jose Altuve is for the most part pretty level-headed player, a veteran, whether you respect him or not. I mean, it's the whole, you know, the scandal that they had back when they won their first World Series. But he hits a foul ball or a ball off his foot, rolls to the third baseman, Manny Machado, who throws him out for the last out of the inning. It was in the top of the ninth. It was a 3-3 game. There was a guy on second base. And you look at it, and I believe the replay clearly shows it hit him, doesn't it? In the left foot, the front foot. And the home plate umpire let it go, didn't ask for help, and it was the last out of the inning. So he argued, Chichi, it's funny listening to the hometown broadcast because they're like, they better get Altuve out of there. They better get him away. And while the manager is arguing with the home plate umpire, Altuve takes off his shoe and his sock and runs over to show him on his foot where it hit. The umpire looks down at his foot, nods his head, and throws him out of the game while he's standing there without his shoe and his sock.
You're out of here.
All right, nice. Now you're gone. Go put it nice. I'm not sure I've ever seen something like that. Have you?
I've seen a lot. Drawing in the dirt, throwing bases, pointing at things, but the cleat off, sock off, look at this red mark. Might be a first.
This where it is. I've seen a guy take his shoe off. Years ago, dude, when I was in Yakima, when I was a sports guy in Yakima, Washington, and the three sports guys, we all go out to Parker Field for the Yakima Bears game, and they're playing the Boise Hawks. And why do I remember it? And I'm going to remember the guy's name because I remember my video. This was one of those epic meltdowns that hit SportsCenter, and I was all fired. Oh, that's my video. It's on SportsCenter right back in the day. There's a play at first base, and the Boise Hawks were the Angels' short season affiliate, and it was the Yakima Bears were the Dodgers, and there was a play at first base, and the manager of the Boise Hawks, his name was Orv Franchuk, and dude lost his mind. Went into one of those epic, pulling second base out and throwing it. He took his shoe off. He was face to face with the umpire, took his shoe off, and put his shoe in the umpire's face to tell him how much he stinks.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
It was classic. It was one of those you know what? I wonder if I could find it on
How
the
much
YouTube
do you
too.
stink this much?
Yeah, this is how bad you are. It was one of the most classic meltdowns I've ever seen. I should find that on the YouTube. But yeah, that was one of those where you only remember that, and that was JJ. Got to be 1991 or 2. But it was my first video that went. Oh, I'm on Sports Center tonight, right? But it was from Yakima, Washington, Yakima Bears and Boise Hawks, and it was classic. All right, it's too early, right? You pass grades 2 years later, but JJ, historic draft for quarterbacks, 6 of them taken in the top 12 in the National Football League draft. 3 are starting, 3 are not, right? Drake May's not starting, Michael Penix isn't starting, and J.J. McCarthy is out for the year. 3 are starting, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. I think this is an amazing stat that you put on here. And I don't even know that I knew this until I looked at it this morning. But of the 3 quarterbacks who have started, that means of the 6 who were taken in the top 12, all of them, there's not a touchdown pass between them?
No touchdown
That's
pass.
insane to me. So that really, it's 3 guys starting 2 games, so it's 6 games worth of data. But when you start going through how valuable those picks are, and they look, please, I'm not telling you that this is any of these are failed after 2 games and some of them none. I'm telling you, it's a slow start, and it's amazing. And I think what it shows is a couple of things. The transition from college to the National Football League is everything they tell you it is. And what Bryce Young did last year was pretty special.
What C.J. Stroud did.
I'm sorry, what C.J. Stroud did last year. Yes.
And this is, what interested me in it is seeing what happened with Bryce Young, understanding that high picks are going to play should franchises start to take a little bit of a step back on it. Because we said all offseason, man, you got Caleb Williams going into one of the best situations ever for a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Dude threw for 93 yards weekly. The dude's on his back the entire game.
You won.
Maybe you should have, looking back on it, I know it's early, he didn't win, his team won.
who gets the winner?
They played Will Levis. You maybe, instead of Roma Dunze, you should have drafted an offensive lineman.
Or defensive lineman, or something, yeah.
No, you should have drafted an offensive lineman.
Yeah. I'm thinking
he was running for his life against the Houston Texans. But it's one you look at, give these guys time.
I found my video.
Found the video. Can't wait to see that.
It's classic. Go ahead. Sorry. It was Kochman and Franchuk. Tom Kochman and or Franchuk. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's the reaction. We're talking about it, but even these guys that you thought were set up for huge success, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Like Jaden Daniels won last week. Didn't turn it over. Looked pretty good, but couldn't score a touchdown in the red zone.
Well, Jaden Daniels has the best numbers of the 3, as you put on here. It's 75.5% completion rate is really good, right? 410 yards. He has not thrown an interception.
Mike Locksley offense right now.
Well, I mean, whatever he's doing, and again, there's a good conversation to be had. Do you put your offense around what you got, or do you put what you got around your offense? Nick's 59.7% completion rate. Although, gosh, I would love to know how many drops he's had. I mean, it would certainly be closer to 63, 64% if his tight end can catch a football. I'm not telling you he's been great. Please, I'm not. He's thrown 4 interceptions. Caleb Williams, 56.1% completion rate, 2 interceptions. So Jaden Daniels has been the best of them. Daniels and Williams are 1-1. Bo Nix is 0-2. You would argue that Bo Nix. I don't even know that you'd argue. Bo Nix has the worst of the 3 teams, right? He does.
Yes.
I mean, it's yes. So, I think it shows you a lot of things, though. But to me, what it says is, it's damn hard to be a quarterback in the NFL and making that transition. It's not just plug and play. And what C.J. Stroud did last year is pretty amazing. You got another guy who was at the top of the draft who was a can't miss, who already got paid. How long has Trevor Lawrence been in the league? 5 years?
Yes.
4 or 5? This is 5, right? They're 0-2. There's no reason. At some point, and I think it's now, pressure's going to really start coming down on that dude. All right, now, like when? His assessment after they lost to the Browns, quote, "We suck right now." Yeah, no, that's a good assessment. I mean, it's not really a take to say we suck, but all right, yeah. His head coach, Doug Peterson, said that's what you want from your leader. I don't want anybody sugarcoating anything. He's the starting quarterback. He's the one back there with the football making the decision, so I appreciate the fact that he's taking that role and that lead. Okay, I'd appreciate him playing better, too. 51% of his passes, 382 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 games, 0-2. He's one of the biggest surprises on the negative side to me in the NFL.
He is. The Jaguars work where hope goes to die. Super disappointing. Second half they played against the Dolphins to lose in week 1. Letting the Browns come in there and grind out a victory. It's, you look at Trevor Lawrence and you're right. There's one of those guys that you say, oh, the pressure's going to be on him. And I take him in a heartbeat on my team.
Because you think there's potential there, right? That's why somebody will take Bryce Young. It just takes one, man. It just takes one team to think there's potential.
Yes, it's not crazy. Someone took tackles, and he's still QB3.
I think look, Trey Lance is on a roster now.
Still QB3.
Bryce Young is 1 season and 2 games away from being the number 1 overall pick. If someone feels that there's value and potential upside in getting, someone with a quarterback situation where it's like, how am I going to get a good quarterback? How am I going to get there? All right, if I trade a 3rd-round pick and I get a guy who was number 1 overall, do I take a shot on the potential there? It just takes one. He's going to get another shot. All right, 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. Come on in. And I want to get into Lobo football against Fresno State. And how are they going to stop the run? Here comes a Fresno State team that is moving the ball well. And the latest on conference realignment when we come back. Opening drive, Jeff and JJ on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Network.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
This morning it's been kind of nice not talking about college football realignment, but we are going to get there. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, come on in, and I don't know, happy Wednesday. How you living today? A little cool, almost feeling autumnal in the morning, right? A little cool outside. Balloon Fiesta's 2 weeks away. Lobo football 6:30 start on Saturday at a University Stadium. JJ and Ned will have, you guys still have a pregame show, right? At 5:30?
Yes, we do.
Right, I just want to make sure you're still doing that. Ned will tell you that the receivers have got to catch the ball, right?
Yes.
Because you know why? The receivers have to catch the ball.
Feels the way you do about the Broncos receivers.
Am I wrong, though? I mean, I'm not telling you Bo Nix is great yet, and he's been on target.
He's only credited with 2 drops.
Did you watch the game? I mean, didn't dudes drop the ball all freaking day? I don't know. All right, it's all on Bo Nix. I mean, I'm not telling you he's great. Please. Who dropped the ball more? Like, who had more drops, Broncos or the Lobos?
That probably would be pretty close.
Yeah, and Bronco Mendenhall, when he was with us Monday, acknowledged that they've got to catch the football.
Well, it's because and Ned and I talked about this. He feels that way because we're kind of hyper focused on the offense, because that's been the one that you've seen flashes. You feel Devin Dampier can do what it takes to win a game, and you almost feel like they can't make a mistake on offense because then so quickly it's going to get away from them on the other. So I think we're over analyzing that a little bit and kind of pushing that on that some, because you just need to get to a point of your schedule where you're seeing teams that are more like you.
So I looked at the last couple of weeks. They were road dogs against a power conference team. I'm like, you know what? I like the number, and the Lobos covered the number. 15.5-point dogs at home against Fresno State, and I don't feel as comfortable. After watching what Fresno State just did to New Mexico State last week, I think Fresno State's good. Mikey Keene, I think, is a terrific quarterback. And when you start looking at Malik Sherrod and the numbers that they're putting up running the football, what do they do well? Well, they kind of do everything well. Mikey Keene has thrown for 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in the first 3 games. Sherrod's scored 3 touchdowns. They're so talented. JJ, I don't. This is an offense that almost concerns me more than Auburn did in regards to running the football.
Yeah, this is a get well spot for Fresno State in the run game.
Get well. Malik. What did they do last week? I mean, holy smokes.
Well, Malik Sherrod went over 100 yards, but he hasn't had a big season yet. Like, if that makes sense. Like, right. He had his 5th career 100-yard game against Mexico State, but they haven't. You know, you played Michigan, which is still a tough game.
And by the way, he played really well against Michigan.
But this is now a chance for that offense to put it together and get consistent, and they feel like it's another explosive spot, just like against Mexico State.
How do you feel about the 15.5?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Like, I'm with you in regards to, after what we saw against Arizona, going into Auburn going, okay. That's interesting, but 15.5.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what Fresno State is defensively. Now, you're going to say, well, they only gave up 30 points to Michigan, and really it was only 23 because Michigan scored on a pick 6.
Then you have that Sacramento State game.
Well, but Michigan offensively isn't very good. In fact, they just changed quarterbacks. Okay, so but still, it's Michigan in the big house. So, but then to your point, Sacramento State put 30 on. Now, was that just a shootout, kind of crazy? No, they scored 46 against Sacramento State, 48 against New Mexico State. So I'm not sure we know what Fresno State is. They're going to get a really good test next week when they play UNLV. And then they get Washington State. So then you really start getting an idea. But I think the Lobos give them a test this week. I think the Lobos can score on them a bit. My concern is until, and I hate being this guy, but when you're giving up 47 points a game as an average, I don't know how you're not. And I think Bronco Mendenhall and that whole staff's got to feel the same way. How are they going to stop someone? That's all. And what's the over-under on this? I don't even know what the number is, but I'll get it for you. It is 61.5. It's a big number. That's my concern when Fresno State comes in. I think the Lobos can score. I love what they do offensively. Actually, I like what they do. I don't know if I love it yet. I like what they do offensively. I think their quarterback is terrific. I think they've got a couple of backs who can run. I've been pleasantly surprised with the way their offensive line is played, especially as much as they've had to move pieces around and they got a third-string center in there. I think they'll score some points. I'd like to see them close a little bit better rate when they get in the red zone. I'm just concerned about the number that they're going to give up.
I'm right there with you. And it's this team that, especially in the second half of games, they've been outscored 83-28. So where's that offense that we like so much in the second half?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's between the 20s.
And they're coming off just 19 points.
Yeah.
No, they move the football, you're right. And doesn't matter if you're moving and you're kicking field goals when you just are constantly giving up touchdowns.
All right, latest on conference realignment in the Mountain West. Air Force, according to multiple, and Pete Thamel reported it yesterday, and a lot of people did, is in conversations. Now, I don't know that I've heard anywhere that says it's imminent, but boy, it's sure starting to feel that way, that Air Force is a candidate for the American Athletic Conference. We've heard a lot about Memphis going to the Pac and leaving the American, and if that happens, Air Force would fill a gap if Tulane goes. Like right now, the American has 14 schools. They have Army and Navy. Memphis is their best football program. They just beat Florida State. Air Force has been referenced in conversations as a potential in the AAC as well as the PAC. The Mountain West is trying to hold on. JJ, I don't. It almost feels inevitable, doesn't it, on Air Force? And this is where, and I'm going to go back to the conversation I had yesterday. Do you think New Mexico's best play right now is to somehow try to tie themselves to the travel partner? I got to believe Wyoming's doing the same thing. I mean, Wyoming, and Tom Berman has been there. He's the longest tenured athletic director in the Mountain West. Tom's a good dude, a smart dude. They got money. I got to believe he's the athletic director at Wyoming. I got to believe Wyoming's doing the same thing, calling and getting a hold of Commissioner Pernetti of the American and trying to tie themselves to that. Do you think New Mexico's best play right now is to try to tie themselves to Air Force to get in the American? Because I'm starting to wonder if I feel that way.
It feels like that would be the card you'd have at the top of the day because you have multiple things in play.
Yeah.
I think at the bottom of the list right now, unfortunately for the Mountain West Conference, is that conference sticking together and adding anything.
I mean, you'd love for that to happen, but I don't know that you can bank on it.
So can you get Air Force on your side with Wyoming's in there?
Or if they're not. I mean, look, man, you got to worry about you. If Air Force is going, you got to worry about you being their travel partner. You being.
I mean,
because UNLV's being mentioned a lot too. Now, I think UNLV ends up in the PAC.
Yes, I think that's where they go, and they have some ties with Nevada. They have to figure out because
I'm not sure that. See, I've heard that a lot, JJ. And I've heard a lot of UNLV to the Big 12 also. And Brett Yormark, I was at the Big 12 Media Day when Brett Yormark said, we want to be in Las Vegas, and I mean, he said it straight up.
Is it partly because now you don't have to have UNLV to be in Vegas? Like, you can go there, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
you don't have to have UNLV.
They did that with their media day, partially, but I think they'd like to be in that market. Yeah, I think they'd like to be in that market.
Then why was UNLV out?
So I've heard a number of stories. I've heard that Reno story that they're tied to them legislatively. But I look at it historically. JJ, this is the first time, when the WAC, when the Mountain West gobbled up, when they accepted Fresno State, Boise State, Reno, right? And Hawaii in the last round. When they lost BYU, Utah, TCU, they took those WAC teams. That's when they've never been, I don't want to say never, historically over the last few decades, it's not like they've been together. So I'm not certain that there's a legislative tie that says UNLV has to be with Reno.
Was it just the funds that it took the Pac-12 to make this initial move? They wanted to secure those four, and then play the game.
And I heard that the Fresno State surprised a lot of people. Something I heard from an athletic director recently, which makes a little bit of sense. Scott Barnes, who's the athletic director at Oregon State, has been spearheading, the PAC, along with Commissioner Gould, and he's a Fresno State alum. There's an affinity to Fresno State, and Fresno State has helped them out in a number of ways. So there was kind of a solid for them. But as we talk about the American, I know there's a lot of Lobo fans going, well, what's the American? Who's in it? And regionally, if Air Force went, you'd have Air Force, UT San Antonio, Rice, North Texas. Memphis isn't very far, Tulsa. And then it's, Army, Navy, East Carolina, South Florida, Charlotte, Tulane, UAB, Florida Atlantic, and Temple. So, I mean, it goes from Philadelphia to Miami to Tampa to Houston to San Antonio. I mean, it's all over the place. Travel's an issue. It is. You better figure out what's more of an issue, travel or being in a league.
Well, it's being in a league, but it's such a killer for fans. That's one thing about the Mountain West. You drive up to Colorado Springs in the weekend, hit Fort Collins.
Yeah.
Maybe make your way up to Laramie.
Look, I agree with all of that. Regionality and the fans, nobody gives a damn anymore. They don't care about you. All right, and I got one more piece on conference realignment, which is it could potentially be a big piece. We'll do that when we come back. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by Chili Traditions.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Well, I'm going to. I don't want to say the next domino to fall, because it wasn't. The ACC thing with Clemson and Florida State, because obviously it wasn't. Well, we all sat around and said, what is Washington State and Oregon State going to do? There was a school of thought that thought it was dependent upon whether or not that league would stay intact, would it break up. And obviously the Pac-12 made a move last week and invited and accepted Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State. The ACC thing is really interesting, and they've got this grant of rights that seems ironclad. That means you cannot get out. They all signed this agreement through 2036. It's a television rights thing, grant of rights. And Clemson and Florida State have been very, very vocal about wanting a greater share of the revenue. They feel that their value is much more than Pitt and Syracuse and many of the schools that are in that league, and they want it out. Now, not that they had somewhere to go, JJ. This has always been the most interesting part about this story to me is, as valuable as 0-3 Florida State thinks they are, and Clemson, there has not been one report anywhere outside of some dude in Tallahassee or in Clemson with thumbs and a phone that said that they've got an inroad into the Big Ten and or SEC, right? He nodded his head. That means yes. So this is where this has all been interesting. So where they think they're going. So evidently this week talks between Clemson and Florida State and the ACC have ramped up in regards to a proposal. And I think this is the model, JJ, where things are going to go. That would allow them a greater share of revenue based on brand valuation and television ratings, as well as potentially after the expiration of the current grant of rights, in exchange for them dropping their lawsuits against the conference. So both teams have lawsuits suing the conference. I don't know what they're suing. I don't know what their base is. They signed the deal. They're suing to get out of this. How much power do you think they have?
It does not feel like Clemson and Florida State have as much power as they would have even a year or two ago.
Why do you think they've lost some? I'm not sure.
Just because the Big Ten and SEC haven't been vocal about adding more. Those teams haven't been in the conversation. I think some of it, too, is they're letting the legal process play out. They want Clemson and Florida State to figure that out for those schools to have to pay all the money.
Well, I think the league is in a great spot as far as the legal is concerned. I think it's pretty ironclad. I don't know that. I mean, you sign the deal. It's pretty clear. Everybody, you sign the deal. So here's what they're looking at, okay? Tigers and Seminoles would drop the lawsuits. So in 2022 and 2023, that academic year, the last one, or two ago. The ACC distributed an average of almost $45 million per school, which is about $7 million less than the SEC. The difference is going to grow to more than $30 million because the SEC is getting more money. So they want more. I have no problem with a performance-based revenue sharing model in leagues. Now, I know that's going to say, well, then how is a Wake Forest supposed to compete with Florida State in the same league? How is Syracuse supposed to compete with Clemson in the same league? And I know in the Mountain West, before San Diego State left, and this has been discussed, that there should be a merit-based distribution. The teams who are earning the NCAA units, the teams who are earning the bowl revenue, should get a thicker share than the teams who aren't. I've always thought, you know what, I'm fine with that. Let's have a base number. You're guaranteed X. And then if you earn X plus whatever percentage, it feels like that would incentivize the bottom to get better, right? To spend more, to make more. I've never had that problem. Now, when you start talking about the valuation, this is what David Williams was talking about, the UNM interim athletic director, when he was on with us last Friday, when he talked about it's not just about market size, but market valuation. And this is where he was going with that. There's only so much you can do. The brand of Florida State is just better than the brand of Wake Forest. It just is. All right. Well, then why are they in the same league? Should they get compensated year in and year out for their brand? That's another conversation. Do you feel they should? Like just because their brand valuation and their market share and their television ratings are better than Louisville's, better than Pittsburgh's, better than Georgia Tech's, should they get off the top get a thicker slice?
I'm more in the camp of earn it and get it.
Yep.
As opposed to just hand it to them because of a brand. Because I look at Florida State and go, you don't have a brand right now, man. You're 0-3.
Well, they still have a brand, though.
You're the laughing stock of college football right now.
In large respect, fine. But they still have a brand and a following and people watch them. And there's a value to that, right? I'm playing the other side of this. I'm not sure I believe what I'm saying, but I'm playing the other side.
But I also, how many people watch them? Like, college football is so saturated.
Florida State?
Yes.
As opposed to Wake Forest?
Well, when they have games that are on the ACC network. You know, what is the difference? Like, it's...
Evidently it's substantial because they're... evidently it's substantial because that's what they're talking about. Is it worth it if you... Let's just say you're Boston College or you're Pitt or you're North Carolina State or you're Wake Forest. You're trying to keep this thing together. Do you vote on that? All right, you know what? Give them a little bit more to keep this league together.
No.
You don't. Okay.
Where are they going?
I think it's a really fair question.
Like,
where they're going.
At some point, I like the model of earning, not just saying, "Oh, your brand resonates more nationally." Okay, how's that helped you recently, Florida State? Really, what extra TV ratings are you bringing in just because you're Florida State or Clemson?
Well, I'll tell you, this is where the value is. Okay, now if they leave, does the value of your television package go down? And that's not information you and I have, right? That's the whole, when San Diego State and Boise State and Colorado State and Fresno State left the Mountain West, what's the value of the television deal? If Memphis and Tulane, I promise you right now.
Does it go down? Yes, it does.
Yeah, and that's why. So now you're getting less of a piece anyway. So is it worth on the front end? You know what? Give them more to protect what I'm getting.
Which is a fair conversation. But I just don't. At some point in time, you got to stand up, and that's what the AC is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be more apt to continue on the model of you will get more if you earn more. If Florida State's selling tickets, they're a part of the ACC brand right now.
Yep,
that helps.
Yep.
But I don't think that Florida State and Clemson deserve more at the front just
for being them. Yeah, just for being them. All right, when we come back, we heard about Bryce Young. We've heard that he was benched. We heard all about what's going on. How does he feel? The number one pick from last year being benched by the worst team in the league. Let you know how he feels according to the reports That's when we come back. Hey, why don't you go ahead and cross venue off of the list for planning your holiday party? I got you covered, and it's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Whether it's a gala, a convention, a gathering, a party, a soiree, whatever it is you got planned, they got you covered at the Albuquerque Convention Center. They got over 600,000 square feet of flexible, beautiful indoor and outdoor meeting space. Local art throughout the building and a mosaic on the outside, handmade by our community. The Kiva Auditorium's there. They got great food and beverage options. They will cater to your needs. Entertainment and event space, and it's right in the center of downtown Albuquerque with a parking garage right there adjacent to the building off of Martin Luther King Jr. It's directly connected to the facility's east building. The parking garage is there, easy access in and out. No matter what you're looking for, no matter how big it is, the Albuquerque Convention Center has you covered with versatile spaces that accommodate every event size, everything imaginable, and they do it with expertise. Their staff, this is what they do. That's why the Isleta New Mexico Bowl, every year, we take our student athletes there for an event on Thursday night. Feed them, have an event there. They take care of our people. You've been to events there. The food is great. The service is beyond great. And the facility is spectacular. As you go through the planning process, whatever it is you're planning to do, find yourself at the center of it all. Book at the Albuquerque Convention Center today. It's 505-768-4575. Area code 505-768-4575. It's all online at albuquerquecc.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
questioned and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors.
NFL schedule start tomorrow for the third week of the season. Aaron Rodgers, back at JetLife Stadium for the first time since he blew out his Achilles. Well, at least playing for the first time. He's been there a number of times. It'll be the Jets tomorrow against the New England Patriots. We'll have it for you right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for the National Football League. Carolina will play the Raiders this weekend. You're like, all right, whatever. You like the Raiders defense streaming this week?
Yes.
Which one do you like better? Cleveland against the Giants or the Raiders against Andy Dalton? Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes. Cleveland better do something. So, but yeah.
Well, they beat the Jaguars
off.
Defense had a safety.
Yeah, they
takeaways.
did. They did. That was a big safety. Go 18-13. That was big. We've heard. I mean, look. What was it? Monday, Tuesday? Well, it was Monday that it came out that Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, had benched his quarterback, Bryce Young, the number 1 overall pick. And the dynamic is so interesting, right? Canales is a first-year coach. He was not the guy who was there when they drafted him, but he was Bryce Young, number 1 overall. The team traded that whole package of picks and turned into Caleb Williams and all these other guys. And you've heard it all. You've heard everything except for how is Bryce Young feel about this? And you may say, Jeff, I don't give a damn. And that's fine. According to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, who used to work here in Albuquerque at the now defunct Albuquerque Tribune, Bryce Young is pissed this is such a bizarre scene because I do believe Bryce Young's gonna have to play for the Panthers again. I don't wish injury on Andy Dalton. I just see a 30-something-year-old statue of a quarterback, and I'm watching quarterbacks get hurt all the time, and the odds of him getting hurt and then him having to go to Bryce Young again are relatively, I don't know, in the odds of Bryce Young having to play again. So according to Fowler, right? I mean, Dalton's going to come in. Young is pissed. Fowler says that the locker room is, quote, still invested, end quote, in their first-year coach, Dave Canales. They believe that Dalton's the right player to lead the offense to save the season. Man, there's part of me that wants to see him play again. Now, JJ, hear me on this. He's small. He hasn't been good, but he's had no chance. What's his best offensive weapon in a year and 2 games that he's had there? His line's bad. He's had no receivers and no running game. Who's his best weapon? Has he had a chance?
It's between Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen, and the fact that 2 games in to a coach that you brought in to help improve this quarterback, you're already throwing in the towel. Yeah. Like, oh, my job is to win. Your job was to make something out of Bryce Young. Winning 4 or 5 games with Andy Dalton does nothing for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. I don't know if he can play or not. I mean, but I'm not sure. I think Tom Brady would have been real good in that situation either. All right, keep them coming at 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. That's your Sports Animal phone line and our text line. There's one game tell you about some of these guys. Like, I don't know, Marvin Harrison Jr. You sold one game? Well, if you base it on the first game, you're not sold. Based on the second game, maybe you are. What's it all mean after one game of each? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Elevate your engine performance with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Hey, today's birthday shout-out goes to
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
Rip,
plaster, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I taught
Cumulus Media Station, even if they're not that proud of us. Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Rolling through your Wednesday here on New Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, glad you're with us. 95.9 FM at AM 610 at These Sports Animal. Thanks for remembering you listen to These Sports Animal. I want to wrap up the thought on Bryce Young is before we move on. And I said this going into the break. The Carolina Panthers benched the number 1 overall pick from last year. And I don't have a problem. He hasn't played well. And maybe he shouldn't have played from the beginning. Maybe he wasn't ready. Maybe, but I get it. You get the number 1 overall pick and you want him to play, especially when your situation is and was what your situation is and was. And I look around the league, and I don't know if there's going to be a trend more towards having a quarterback sit a year. Mahomes did, Love did, Rodgers did. And you can tell me other situations where guys stepped in, C.J. Stroud right away, and they performed well. And so I don't know that there is a palette or a broad brush way to do it anymore. But when a guy's not ready and you force him into a bad situation, this is what happens. And obviously, the situation was bad, and maybe less obvious he wasn't ready. But he hasn't been good, right? Is that all fair?
That is all fair.
All right. And so, look, Ryan Leaf is whether you like Ryan Leaf or not, I think Ryan Leaf has really kind of turned himself around into, do you believe Ryan Leaf, the former Washington State, the former Charger quarterback, has become, with everything he's gone through and kind of turned kind of a respected voice in football now?
Yes, he's a voice in football.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right, fair enough. He was a failed high draft pick. Believe it or not, there was a real conversation. And those of you who are not old enough to remember this, but you just kind of know what these two guys' careers became, you're going to go, there's no way. There was a real national screaming head debate back in whatever year that was. I think it was 1998. Who should be the number 1 pick, Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf? This was real, man. And the career Peyton had and the career Ryan Leaf had. Look, I mean, Chargers gave him a lot of opportunities to succeed. They set him up, and he didn't. They moved on after 3 seasons. So Ryan Leaf is a commentator now, and he says he wished the Panthers would have given Bryce Young a longer lease. He was on TMZ Sports yesterday. And Ryan Leaf blamed the Carolina organization for the way they handled this. He said they should have given him more of an opportunity to succeed. Quote, this is Ryan Leaf now, talking about Carolina. They screwed this thing up from the get-go, though. I mean, this organization is horrible. This organization has done nothing to try and help and develop a player that has so much expectation on him. And so I laid this at the feet of the organization completely, end quote. JJ, I don't know that I think he's wrong. Again, I'm not going to sit here and promise you I think Bryce Young is ever going to be a good quarterback. And it's a little dissimilar to me from the Trey Lance situation, because I think Trey Lance was put in a situation where, dude, there's a lot around you. You can succeed. There's veteran receivers. There's weapons. There's really solid coaching staff. To me, this is different. I don't know if he's any good or not, dude. He may be horrible.
Yeah, he may be too small. He might not have it, which is fine. But I think it's also evident that this stuff takes time, but the league doesn't even give it time anymore. It's not just talking heads and shows going off 1 week into the season. It's franchises. It's impatient owners going off. Because who was set up better than anyone else? Caleb Williams. And he hasn't looked great at all. Mm-hmm. And then people are already going, well, see, that's why I had Caleb Williams number 2 on my draft board behind Jaden Daniels.
After 2 games. Yeah.
And he was supposed to have the best supporting cast ever for a rookie. thing is, it's really hard to play that position. You need time. And the reason teams don't want to give it time, because they don't want to miss out on the once in every 10-year player. Andrew Luck, C.J. Stroud.
Wasn't it going to be Trevor Lawrence too?
But it wasn't. So it doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but it was going to be, right? When he came out, he was that guy.
Caleb Williams was that guy. They could still go to the playoffs, but it's the process that NFL teams don't even have time for with young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we can't miss, because what if it is C.J. Stroud? What if it's Justin Herbert? But Herbert was good, but that team didn't win at a high level right away.
So most teams don't have that ability to have that process. And I want to go back when Jordan Love was drafted.
They can if they want to.
Right, and this
Look
is where
at
I'm going.
the New England Patriots.
Okay. The way they're handling Drake May?
That's when you look at, well, might as well just throw him out there. You're not good. Get him reps. They made the decision not to.
Yeah, and I like it. But I'm going to go back when Jordan Love was drafted, and people were screaming that you needed to get Aaron Rodgers a receiver, and maybe you did. Okay, maybe you did. But in retrospect, the way they handled him and what we all think he's going to become, and they just gave him $55 million a year, they afforded themselves that comfort. Now, you got to have a guy in place to do that. What Atlanta just did with Michael Penix Jr., right?
Yeah.
It affords them. Now, they should have drafted a pass rusher. Okay, let's see in 2 years how this works out for them.
It's hard for me to look at those situations.
Why?
Because when you're drafting a quarterback high, your job's on the line. Andy Reid's job wasn't on the line. The Packers weren't going to fire Matt LaFleur. Like, they were going in with no expectations on this quarterback. So I think it's harder to draft a quarterback with expectations and then be patient.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is those guys all were double-digit draft picks, right? Mahomes was, I want to say, 10 or 12.
Well, Mahomes was 10.
Penix was 10.
Penix
Love
was
8.
Love was in the 20s.
All right.
But
so,
Aaron Rodgers wasn't just leaving immediately.
So if you're going to get one of those top guys, is what you're saying?
Yes. Like, if you're you're drafting Caleb Williams, Jane Daniels, that fan base, those fan bases are like, we're playing now.
What about number 3? Right, number 3 was New England, and they're not playing.
Well, that's my point, is you can make that decision. You don't have to put that guy out there, but if you're going to put him out there, then you have to go through the growing pains, and you have to support him. You have to have a coach that you believe in. In Carolina, we can all look at Bryce Young and probably go, I don't think he's that dude. But they also fired his coach midway through his rookie season.
Yeah.
They brought in a guy that said, hey, we want you to come in because you're supposed to be good with quarterbacks.
So it's his third head coach.
2 weeks?
Yeah, it's his third head coach in a season and 2 games. No, you're not wrong. All right, 505-246-0610. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great conversation today. Thanks. The show's been fantastic. I just want to weigh in a little bit on kind of what you were talking about. So, yeah, like, first off, with Bryce Young, Penix was taken at number 8, not number 10.
Yeah,
so I love the conversation. But with Bryce Young, I think it's the organization that has just really, really failed this guy big time. I mean, all the things you talked about, the expectation to play early, all the rush, they didn't build anybody around him. But then look back at his past. Look at the people that he played with at Alabama. This dude was a bona fide leader. He captured the locker room, won the Heisman, competed at the highest level, was coached by Nick Saban. This guy was proven. He's not like a Jamarcus Russell or a Trey Lance who just had one athletic season and then got picked up. You know, Bryce Young is definitely more valuable than your typical average bust. That's my opinion. And that Carolina desperately failed them, and then there's a lot of organizations that do that, as Caleb Williams is kind of finding out, and they, you know, the organizations that invest and grow somebody from home, just like Atlanta's doing, just like you just pointed out. You nailed it. And then my second thing.
Well, wait, back up, Mike, real quick. Wait, Mike. Do you think Bryce Young is going to be a good NFL quarterback?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be. I think he has a way higher potential of being. And I think that now with this move and then benching him, now there's going to be all kinds of discussion, like roundtable, who could make a move for Bryce Young. Yeah. And in the next couple of days, we'll be able to see like a really good potential landing spot, and then he might have a shot to be one.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right, yeah, sorry. Go ahead and make your other point. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, and then with the whole conference realignment thing, I don't think Clemson and Florida State should have any kind of benefit. Basically what JJ's saying, you know, like once you, and if they're earning more money through TV yes, earn more money. But all of these TV deals are going to evaporate quickly and conglomerate into something bigger as this thing keeps evolving really, really fast. And that the reason that Florida State and Clemson weren't invited to the Big Ten like USC, like Oregon, is because plain and simple the product is not as good. It's really not as good. And then about UNM joining a conference where they're traveling all the way from Philly to Miami and this whole area, yeah, it's tough on the fans, but it's going to be much better on the recruiting base because you finally got a chance to show up, show face, kick a little booty somewhere else in somebody else's house, and then you can bring more people. And that's the slow process of building up your program. It's getting out there, taking your lumps, and staying solid through the whole thing. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. Thanks.
Really
Great
good.
show.
That's good. On the Bryce Young thing, that's why I believe he's going to get a shot. I believe there's going to be people who think like Mike did. Look, he was a leader. Yeah, he's small, but, man, I remember what that dude looked like. I know what he looks like in the NFL. But there's going to be people who say it's because of the situation he's in. You've beaten the career out of him. You've beaten the confidence out of him. You've beaten.
Can he be a Geno Smith type quarterback? It's possible. It's always going to be harder because you have the expectations of being a number one overall pick on you.
That's fair.
But I know you brought it up earlier this week. Miami makes a lot of sense, but I actually don't think that would be good for Bryce Young because they're going to do everything they can if Tua's healthy. That Tua's going to be their quarterback. Because they just gave him $200+ million.
Yeah.
If a situation where you're looking at could something be built, could you have a guy that maybe gets you until that next point? No. Who should be making that call? Sean McVay.
I don't hate that either.
That's one where you're not committed to a
Who's it, Stetson Bennett sitting behind him?
You're not committed to a $250 million quarterback.
Yeah, and the Rams.
You have Matthew Stafford for the next couple seasons, so you don't have to bring in Bryce Young to play right away. You know Sean McVay can develop an offense. Expect him to continue to find playmakers.
Yep.
Like, that's a team I'd be on the phone with going, all right, how upset are you, Carolina? Here's a 5th-round pick.
Yeah,
we'll take Bryce
You
Young.
can get out of this mess. 505-246-0610. That's how to get here today. You continue this. We can go into week 3. Who's going 3-0? I still want to get into the Marvin Harrison Jr. Which week do you believe on him? It's kind of pretty easy to answer, but, and we'll get into the buts. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Ozera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations. Go United! ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken.
Many good receivers in the league.
That's right. But really good one who's going to be really good, and in 3 years he's going to be that guy that's breaking the market, and they're going to hit on this. I think the answer is they looked at tape and said, why the hell aren't we throwing it to that guy? Kyler, find him. All right, coach, drop some plays for him. Okay. And in game 2, they came out and said, hey, why don't we use our new weapon?
So I drafted him where he did, 4th overall. You saw the same thing with week 2 in Malik Neighbors. Target that man. 18 targets for Malik Neighbors in the Giants offense.
Do the Browns do that with Amari Cooper this week and say, dude, we got a guy there throwing the damn football?
They are. 17 targets in 2 games.
And he caught 1 last week.
It's on Cooper and Watson.
Yeah.
Old man Cooper not looking too good early.
I don't understand.
Separation really hasn't been there.
Well, he's dropped some balls too. But yeah, that's what
I understand with Deshaun Watson because that's a problem. But it's just speaking on these young players, the hype is crazy with them. It's the hype equals hope in the NFL. We understand that, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is fine, and he told the whole world that, yeah, he's fast enough, because I think it's one that all the metrics are fun, and I love taking them into account when we're talking throughout the week. But when they're like, oh, he only ran 16.7 miles per hour, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Get him the football, he's fine.
I agree with you.
Like, that meant nothing. It was just
How does he look on a football field?
At Buffalo, they were rolling early, had a lead, were struggling in the second half, lost to the Bills. You game plan him early opportunities, and he hits you home run. And how about the wide receiver draft class so far? With Malik Neighbors, Xavier Worthy having a 3-touchdown game week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Thomas, that's back-to-back.
He's their
weeks
go-to guy in Jacksonville, yeah.
Caught shot plays down the field for the Jaguars. So the first-round pick stepping up at the wide receiver position.
All right, I'm not a big list radio guy. Here's my number 1, number 2, whatever. But this list is always interesting when it comes out. Sports Illustrated puts out their first 50 most influential figures. So how do they figure out? They say, what is influence? You know it when you feel it. It's not limited to those who rack up the W's. The sports landscape, they say, is shaped by all kinds of power brokers, deal makers, cultural titans, icons of leadership, and yes, incredibly high achievers. Their criteria: some are athletes who push limits, redefine success, and have an outsized impact between and outside the lines. Some are dominant coaches or Hall of Famers crafting legacies in real times. The sports conversation is also driven by influencers, social stars, style icons, taste makers, and opinion shapers. Business titans who know that the negotiating table can be as competitive as any field or court. Power can shift, but right now in 2024, these are the most 50 influential figures and forces in sports. So they divide it up into like icons and leaders, athletes, and administrators, or like front office people. Have you looked at the list? Do you know who it is?
I don't.
Who do you think is number 1 on their list of icons and leaders in sports? Most influential.
LeBron James?
No, he's everywhere. LeBron James. Do you know who number 2 would be? 2 and 3 are going to really interest you, I think.
And globally?
Globally. I just read you the criteria that they use for that.
Is Brady up there?
He's lower on the list. He's on there. It's a retired athlete. So Brady would fit that. It's Tiger Woods still 2.
Okay.
And Simone Biles is number 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then Dan Hurley is number 4. Bob Bowman. Do you know who that is? This one is kind of crazy, but the coach who he's a Texas director of swimming and diving. He's the guy who built Michael Phelps into the machine that he is. Then Don Staley. Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City manager. Then your buddy Tom Brady. Candace Parker, Lionel Messi, Emma Hayes, the U.S. women's national coach. Those are your icons, as they put it, overall. So, current athletes, you know who they got number 1 and 2? Who would you think current athlete, number 1, most influential current athlete?
That's not LeBron.
That's not LeBron.
You already said him.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Is it in America?
It is. Okay. Yeah, and it'll make sense when you hear it. He's everywhere.
Dak Prescott?
It's Patrick Mahomes.
I'm going to go one or the other.
Yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 is Angel Reese. And this one... So
I just saw the Reese's Puffs cereal box with her on it.
Dude, she's everywhere now. And Reebok. And so their reasoning behind Angel Reese, gone from Bayou Barbie to WNBA All-Star, making a strong case for Rookie of the Year. Turned in a historic season, league record. SI October issue cover. Parlayed on-court success into savvy business opportunities. Recently paired up for a fitting candy partnership with Reese's. Released a collection with Reebok. Confirmed that she has a signature shoe on the way. So she's number 2. I mean, that's huge. And you're like, wait a minute, where's Caitlin Clark? I'll get there. Carlos Alcaraz 3, Asia Wilson 4, Anthony Edwards 5, Max Verstappen, Red Bull Racing F1 driver.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens, Scotty Scheffler, Victor Wembanyama, Travis Hunter, Colorado's two-way star, the University, Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers, then Caitlin Clark, then Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid, then Erling Haaland, Manchester City. Then they say LSU Tigers talent, they like Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all these guys. Katie Ledecky, Juju Watkins, the USC Trojans women's basketball player, who's on track to be the next one. So those are your players. And then they list executive and deal makers and went through a lot of front office people. It's an interesting list. And you're like, well, Dak Prescott's not on it. Okay. I don't know. The one guy that, to me, jumps off the page for not being there is Shohei. International.
That's not surprising, though, when you think outside of the New Balance campaign, he's not in anything.
Is Kawhi still doing New Balance?
Yeah. I'm a fun guy.
Or a fun guy. All right, 505-246-0610. That list is out. I want to go through that a little bit more. You can as well. I'm going to reset you at the top of the news of the day as well. 505-246-0610.
Speaking of lists, how about entries? Pick 'em entry. Do you like football? Do you like daily fantasy sports? Well, how about putting those together with some of the most fun you can have, and that's Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, making picks is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. What is a pick 'em entry? So when you log in to Underdog Fantasy, use our mobile app, or hit them up at underdogfantasy.com, you're going to see player stat projections, and you go higher or lower with the player stat projections. And I'm already looking at Thursday night football. It's going to be a slugfest. Jets and Patriots, so where do you go? Right to the starting running backs. Breece Hall, his stat projection, 63.5 rushing yards. I'm clicking higher. How about Ramondre Stevenson? A really good start to the season for the Patriots. I'm going higher there as well, 65.5 rushing yards. That's where I'm starting my pick 'em entry. It's two players from two different teams, and then you build from there. You can win up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower on so many different stat categories. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app, underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code JJBuck, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick 'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Log in right now because you can play some baseball, maybe some Champions League, some other stuff to get you ready for a gigantic weekend of football. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JJBuck to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Don't forget that promo code. It will be big time for you this weekend. Promo code JJBuck. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Dirty Boys.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
What do you mean be back?
Well, at some point, I think, maybe when there's a head coach change or an AD change at St. Bonaventure, I think he gets back into the media thing.
Because in his statement he released, he said he doesn't have the drive to do it anymore, and he's retiring from news. And I don't think that's a position that's tied to a head coach at all.
I think it's a timing thing.
No, I mean...
No. So you don't think because of relationships within the
I think that's one he can have that job in that athletic department regardless of who the head basketball.
I think he certainly can, yeah. I think at some point you get refreshed and miss what you were doing. And in 3, 4, 5 years from now, you can get back. I mean, that's just a gut feel.
Because one of the things he mentioned was his time is running out. He in his
55
statement.
years old. I mean,
yeah, but I don't think he wants to be. I'm not saying that people don't come back to it. I think this is straight up his last chapter. Like, he's not going to be dropping Woj bombs on ESPN in 5 years.
Yeah, I'm not as convinced, but you may be right. I mean, we'll find out.
Because he gets to go back to his alma mater.
Mm-hmm.
He loves basketball.
No, I'm not. I have no doubt this is something that he is all his choice and something he loves to do. And he's probably made plenty of money and can go do what he wants to. Like, we don't want to be in that situation, right? It's not about the money. It's about the situation I want to be in, and let me go do something I love and go help somewhere I love. His one of his quotes: "It's a thrill of a lifetime to be able to return to a university and a community that I love and role of service to our student athletes and coaches and institutions. I'm hopeful that I can bring value in a lot of areas to our basketball program and open doors for our young men's futures in ways both professionally and personally." JJ, I don't doubt for a second he's burnt. I just, a guy that's that good, in 4 or 5 years, does he miss it a little bit? Does he miss the pace? Does he want to get back in and take another bite at it? And I got to believe there'll always be a spot for him.
I don't think it matters if he wants to get back into it or not. If he comes back, okay, but it really sounds like...
I agree with you. It doesn't matter.
It's a trend that we're going to start seeing more across college athletics.
The GM position?
A GM for college football and college basketball teams. And when you hear in the past him talk about that university and basketball, like, this definitely feels like he's going to coast home here.
Good for him, man.
Which is awesome.
Dude, he's not, 55 years old is a young man. There's a lot left in a 55-year-old guy. He says, I grew up the son of a factory worker 2 miles from ESPN's campus and only ever dreamed of making a living as a sports writer. 37 years ago, the Hartford Courant-Journal gave me my first byline. I never stopped chasing the thrill of it all. This craft transformed my life, but I've decided to retire from ESPN and the news industry. Well, I get that. I understand the commitment required in my role, and it's an investment that I'm no longer driven to make. Time isn't endless, in endless supply, and I want to spend mine in ways that are more personally meaningful. I leave with overwhelming gratitude and countless mentors and colleagues and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Called it a privilege to be at ESPN, and thank the people that let him do it. Good for him, man. Look, when you go out on your terms, I'm all about it. Pick your way. And if you've earned that comfort level, God bless you, right?
The last Woj bomb is the biggest one.
Yeah. That was a bit of a surprise. All right, 505-246-0610. We still got time for you to get in today. Some stuff we talked about was some of the realignment conversation. Tua Tagovailoa being put on the injured reserve list. And you know, we talked about it earlier. Is this today? Yeah. We talked about it earlier about, was it good for Tua? And I said, one of the good things about this is he doesn't have to answer the question every week. And the text line says, the placement of Tua on the IR shouldn't be seen as enabling him to avoid answering whether he'll play, a question budding media types used to answer for him that he shouldn't and should instead retired due to perceived medical complications. Such media types aren't qualified to provide input on. Rather, the placement of Tua on their list would give Tua a medically necessary opportunity to recover from the latest concussion, something the NFL failed him the chance to do during his previous and demonstrated experience of concussions years ago. The NFL didn't fail him that. It was available. The team didn't put him on there, and he didn't go on there. How did the NFL fail him last time, the opportunity to go on the IR?
The NFL didn't fail him. They thought he was ready to go, and he wasn't. And then we all, after that, were like, oh.
The doctors cleared him, and he went. The NFL failed him? And you and I both said, like, this is just one of the reasons, one of the extra reasons.
Whatever. It's the word salad text message that you have to pontificate.
Yeah.
To get your point across, and you could use 2 sentences. This is one. It makes sense because it slows the noise down. They don't have to give practice updates every single day if you were to clear the concussion protocol, because he could clear this in a week or 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But given his history, you have the ability for it to calm down from everyone, work more with the medical professionals, not force him back faster. We've all said that. We've been on it from the beginning. I've never liked the narrative immediately of coming out saying he should hang 100%. Up his helmet. Haven't played that game. This is all about Tua and the conversations he has with his doctors and what he wants to do with his professional career.
All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. That's the text line that says on the text line, good morning, fellas. Can you see the Lobos going to Pac-12 basketball only and independent in football will give Bronco a chance to rebuild the program? No.
Independent football is a death sentence if you're not Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, and I think he thinks, well, you can stay in the Mountain West and they'll take you just for basketball because your basketball program is so great. Which I don't know that everybody views it as being so great, but it's good. But yeah, how you survive in independent football. And I don't know what the Mountain West is going to be. And by the way, where's volleyball playing and softball and soccer and everything else? Does the Mountain West stay together? I mean, I no is the answer. I don't see that. No. Do you?
If it's basketball only type of deals, it wouldn't be the Pac-12. You'd be looking at West Coast Conference, things like that. I would think, because the Pac-12, they're all in on full programs.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe. I mean, unless they add Gonzaga, and then right now they are, but who knows where they're going? I just don't see it. It's not New Mexico.
It's your point. It's what we talked about. All these ideas or ideas that have to be thrown out there that are worth talking about, because you have to play multiple angles. Could that eventually come back around? Possibly. Is it at the top of the list, that things that make sense for both right now? No.
Yeah, I agree. This text says, regarding the Sports Illustrated most influential athletes, people, icons list, says, I'm surprised Travis Kelce isn't on that list. I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, play, social icon, love life. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, what else you got today? With Tua being on the list, or on the IR, that's a big deal. WNBA added a 15th franchise starting in 2026. It will be in Portland, and Rory's unsure about having the live members as Ryder Cup. I want to get into that as well. Hey, Chris, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Jeff. It's Charger Chris. Long time no hear from, man. How y'all been?
Life's grooving. What's happening, man? Good to hear you.
Yeah, nothing, man. I was this weekend with the Chargers going against the Steelers. I think this is going to be a good test for Harbaugh to see if he's really who he is, and I just think that what we got now in place as opposed to years past, boy, with after coming off of Brandon Staley, that kid couldn't find his butt with both hands, man. And so I think this is going to be a good chance for us to see what we're really made of. Is the running game really what it's about? Is Justin Herbert the guy? So that was basically what I had to say. And like I said, you guys are doing real well with the show. I've been listening from afar, and you guys really have taken it to another level. So, thanks.
Appreciate you, Chris. No, thank you very much. I think it's a big one for the Chargers. Can they move the ball against a good defense? Can they? I mean, one thing is Carolina. Can they? And I don't know what the Raiders were.
The Raiders and Carolina definitely skew the numbers, but we know that that's what they want to do. I don't think J.K. Dobbins is going for 120 and a touchdown. But can he still be efficient against T.J. Watt and that Steelers defense?
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot from that. All right, we'll wrap it when we come back. You still got time to get in. 505-246-0610 here on the Sports Animal. 95.9 FM at AM 610. The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together
Pull together
Pull together.
to make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897.
Wrapping you up on a Wednesday, 505-246-0610 is how to get here. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. I got a text that they both suck, but I'm not sure who we're talking about. Who are they both suck?
We?
No,
Both suck?
no. It just says they both suck.
Jeff and JJ suck?
Oh, that might be right. I'm not even, I mean, I don't know. This is on the conference realignment. Feels like the thing that makes the most sense and that I've seen talked about is a Pac-12 takeover of the Mountain West for the right to no buyouts. And they take charter members with them, which is good for UNM. Seems like the Lobos' best shot to get into something. So what he's saying is basically the PAC would not have to pay those buyout fees. And they take the charter members of the Mountain West, which would be the remaining schools would be just Wyoming and New Mexico, right? Because who else is left? Utah State, Hawaii, Nevada, and San Jose State. None of them were charter members.
But wouldn't they still
What
hold
about
on
UNLV?
to take the money?
Would who hold on to take the money?
Those other Mountain West schools?
Not if 9 of the 12 schools voted to go. So I haven't heard that one. This is the first I've heard of that. I mean, that'd be a lifeline for New Mexico.
9 of the 12, that would mean the conference dissolves.
Yeah.
So how did Oregon State and Washington State do it?
Well, they're paying the buyout.
No, but how did they hold on to that from the Pac-12?
Well, they were left behind. They didn't leave. They just held it. They stayed in the
San
Pac-12.
Jose State, Utah State,
yeah,
Nevada
then they
are
get
left behind. How is that not the same thing?
They would hold on to whatever the assets are, but they wouldn't. If 9 of the 12 vote to leave, then there wouldn't be exit fees for them to get. Does that make sense?
So
they could vote
wouldn't
out.
even get the.
They would be
first
out of the poaching fees,
4?
and I don't know. I would imagine not, but I don't know that for sure. That's the first I've heard of that. I mean, that would be a lifeline for UNM, and that would be basically, there's 11 teams in the pack right there with those. You take 9 of them, because you can't leave. The non-charter members would be Hawaii, Utah State, Nevada, San Jose State. Was UNLV a charter member? They might have been, huh? Yeah, they were. So you'd have to take one of those, wouldn't you? Because now you got 8 of the 12.
That seems like a lot of work to just get to a merger.
Instead of
just
doing it
to
off the
be
top.
like, hey, we don't want to do this, and we just want to make sure that 2 schools don't come along. So let's play this 2-year game and make life terrible for everyone just to get to a merger.
Yeah, look, I feel that it would be. It would be a hell of a break for New Mexico.
It'd be a break, but it would also just be like, why can't you do that from the start?
Well, I don't think it's. I just don't think that's how it's going to go. First of all, there's a big deal about, for whatever reason, San Diego State in this elevation thing, and this is a basketball-driven thing, that they came up with a metric that says they are at a distinct disadvantage playing at altitude, right? And they've got some. I'm trying to remember if there was a name on the metric, but it was how. Remember when who were we talking to? One of the national guys. It could have been Jerry Palm, about the teams that play at altitude have this advantage, and their numbers are inflated and they're not as good, right?
Yeah, because ESPN put a metric out there.
Is that what it was? The ESPN metric?
Yeah, that heavily penalizes teams that play at altitude.
Right, and so
which is outrageous.
And San Diego State is taking that and run, and they don't want to play altitude games. Hence them running away from. They took Colorado State, but running away from Air Force, New Mexico, Wyoming. Now Boise State, I believe, is still at, and Utah State, and Boise State's still at altitude, I believe. But they're running away. It's one of their talking points as far as why they don't want those teams in the league. It's a basketball-driven metric that says that there's a big advantage. What's Boise? I know you just looked it up. What's Boise's altitude?
2,700 feet.
Yeah, so it's a little bit. I mean, it's half of this. Split the difference.
It's pathetic if that's something that the Aztecs are really hanging their hat on.
I so agree with you.
To be a team that played in a national championship game that feels that they should be not just a Sweet 16 squad, but playing at a national level, and you're going to say, well, we can't play games at elevation.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. If that what they really are running.
Look, I'm not arguing. Did Denver Nuggets lose any points on their national championship or on their NBA championship because they play at altitude? I just, for crying out loud. I think it's ridiculous.
And it's the same thing about, that the offensive stats at Coors Field. Yeah, it might be inflated a little bit, but that team doesn't win all the time just because of some offensive stats.
Well, last I checked, the other team's playing at that advantage too. It's an interesting concept, and to the texter, I had not heard that one yet. That would be a lifeline. That would be, if they just say, in lieu of the buyout, in lieu of having to pay the buyout and the poaching fees, we'll take, I guess it would be 3 more, right? 4 more. It would be Air Force, Wyoming, New Mexico, and UNLV. And leave 4 behind. I don't know how they get that one last vote. Yeah, I'd have to look into that one more. I've not heard that one up until this point. All right, other breaking stuff this morning. There's nothing really breaking this morning. Adrian Wojnarowski is leaving ESPN to take over the general manager job of basketball at his alma mater, St. Bonaventure. Shohei Ohtani is at 48-48. He hit his 48th home run of the season yesterday as he closes in on trying to become the first ever in the 50-50 club. 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. They got 11 games up. Meanwhile, the Dodgers lost yesterday. Padres won. There's only 3.5 games separating L.A. and San Diego, and those two teams will meet next week. And in between, the Padres play the White Sox. Who, by the way, the White Sox were on a 3-game winning streak, weren't they? Did they win last night? The White Sox, where's their streak? I'm looking for it. Streak has lost one. No, they lost. 36 and 116.
4-6 in their last 10.
Yeah, they were on a 3-game winning streak, dude. They lost last night, but they're 36 and 116. I mean, the magic number was like 125 losses or something like that. 36. They're 51 games back. Everybody else in that division, 5 games back, 6.5, 8, and 51 behind Cleveland. 51. How bad are they? I mean, the Rockies are 59 and 63. Or 59 and 93. That's really bad. Like, really bad. But it's like 23 games better than the White Sox.
You are built different when you're September and you're working for one of those franchises.
Oh, man.
And
you got your
17
resume
people
fresh.
that show up, and it's like, whew.
I know.
We have to keep putting out those promotions.
Well, you feel for the hot dog dude who makes his living, right, on tips and selling hot dogs and beers, and the parking guys, and right, all those guys when nobody's showing up to your game. And why would you? I'm not mad at people for not showing up to a White Sox game.
Yeah, the tips are gone.
Yeah, all those. I mean, you kind of feel for those people who make their living on people showing up and spending a couple bucks, right? No, those are the ones who get beat. I'm trying to find a box score on them. Oh, they were on the road last night at the Angels. another powerhouse. But I was just wondering what the attendance would have been last night. Like their average attendance. All right, tomorrow Jerry Palm will be with us from CBS Sports as we get you started on another football weekend. NFL tomorrow as well. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd is after that. 2 Men On is in at 4, and then you get Isotopes in Reno tonight as they play the final week of their season. Adrian looks great, always does. Appreciate your efforts on the visual side. Big week for you, or big day for you?
Huge day.
All right, enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio at 7 a.m. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
If you're